Hello and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation and Practitioner Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson will give an overview of the course. In the next screen, we will list the objectives of this lesson. After completing this lesson, you will be able to list the learning objectives of PRINCE2 Certification course, describe the PRINCE2 Certification exam outline and syllabus. We will discuss the learning objectives of this course in the following screen. The main objective of this course is to ensure participants understand the four integrated elements of PRINCE2 methodology. The four elements are 7 principles, 7 themes, 7 processes, and tailoring to project environment. We will be covering each of these core elements in detail during this course. Knowing these elements will help in PRINCE2 Foundation examination. Another objective of this course is to help participants to prepare for the PRINCE2 Foundation examination. We will also provide a sample questionnaire to test the preparation for the Foundation examination. In the next screen, we will find out about PRINCE2 Foundation exam. The salient features of PRINCE2 Foundation examination are as follows. It is 1 hour exam consisting of 75 multiple choice questions. Out of this 75 questions, 5 questions are trial and do not contribute towards the score. The question number of the trial questions is not shared with the participant, so all the questions have to be answered. To pass the PRINCE2 Foundation examination, one must score 50%. That is, 35 out of 70 questions answered should be correct. The PRINCE2 Foundation examination is a closed book examination. The book cannot be carried inside the examination center. In the next screen, we will find out about PRINCE2 Practitioner exam. The salient features of PRINCE2 Practitioner examination are the following. The Practitioner examination is based on a case scenario. Each exam will comprise of 8 questions covering a different syllabus area, which will be clearly identified at the beginning of each question. There are 8 questions containing 10 marks, and the questions are further subdivided into 2 parts. The passing mark is 44 or 55%. The duration of the examination is of 2.5 hours. The questions of PRINCE2 examination are based on managing successful projects with PRINCE2. The syllabus includes 7 principles, 7 themes, 7 processes, and tailoring to project environment. We would be studying these elements in our course. For example, learn from experience is one of 7 principles of PRINCE2 methodology. Risk is one of the 7 themes, and directing a project is one of the processes in PRINCE2. PRINCE2 methodology believes in customization, meaning that this methodology cannot be used as it is. It would need to be tailored down up to suit the specific project need. There are a total of 20 lessons. After completing the first 3 lessons, please go through lesson 11 first and then lessons 4 till 10 for better understanding. The last lesson is a guideline of the PRINCE2 Practitioner exam. The lessons and the time dedicated to each lessons are listed in the table on the screen. We will continue our discussion on the course outline in the following screen. As seen in the table on the screen, in lessons 7, 8, 9, and 10, 4 of the 7 themes of PRINCE2 are explained in detail. Lesson 11 is an introduction to 7 processes of PRINCE2. We will continue our discussion on the course outline in the following screen. As seen in the table on the screen, lesson 12 to 18 is where all the 7 processes are explained. Lesson 19, which is tailoring PRINCE2 to project environment, describes the need of tailoring of PRINCE2 methodology in various project environments. Please note that PRINCE2 exam is based on PRINCE2 manual published by TSO. Our lessons correspond to the lessons in PRINCE2 manual. That is to say, PRINCE2 manual also has 19 lessons. An extra lesson has been added in the course which gives us guidelines on PRINCE2 Practitioner exam. At the end of each of these lessons, we have a quiz. Attempting these quizzes is recommended for an increased grasp of the topics covered. Once the 19 lessons are completed, the participants can take the online practice tests. These tests will help in preparation for the actual exam. Hello and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson introduces us to PRINCE2 methodology. Let us discuss the objectives of this lesson in the next screen. After completing this lesson, you will be able to explain the challenges faced by an organization during project management, define a project, explain the need for project management methodology, list the 6 variables of project, explain the structure and benefits of PRINCE2. Let us look at the challenges faced by the organizations in the next screen. In the current business scenario, the organization needs to manage business operations and need to respond to the changes in the business simultaneously. If changes are not responded to in the business, it becomes difficult for the organizations to sustain in the market. Managing current business operations as well as business changes is a challenging task. They need to transform business operations to sustain in the changing business circumstances. To do that, they need to have a balance between business as usual, also termed as BAU, and business change by implementing a project. For example, a computer manufacturer provides support and maintenance of the existing products as a part of BAU. However, at the same time, tries to introduce faster and more efficient computers with new features in the market. This is to sustain or grow its market, which is an example of business change. A business change is introduced by implementing a project. In the next screen, we will discuss the definition of a project. The official PRINCE2 manual defines a project as a temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to an agreed business case. Sometimes, projects are undertaken to introduce a change in the organization, or the projects are executed as part of a contract. Let us take the scenario of a project to introduce a change. For example, if the sale of a company product has declined in the last 3 months, and a decision is taken to broadcast a new advertisement campaign to further promote the product in the market, introducing a new advertisement campaign is a project. According to PRINCE2, a project is taken as there is a problem. The expected change is introduced through projects. The characteristics of projects are as follows. Project introduces change in an organization. Each project has definite start date and an intended end date, which makes all projects temporary in nature. Each project is unique. The resources from various units with multiple skill sets are involved in the project. This makes all the projects cross-functional. Each project has its own share of risks. Hence, there is an uncertainty in each project. In the next screen, we will find out why we need project management methodology. PRINCE2 defines project management as project management is the planning, delegating, monitoring, and controlling of the entire project and the motivation of those involved to achieve the project objectives within the expected performance targets for time, cost, quality, scope, benefits, and risks. In spite of best efforts by the higher management and the project manager, projects still fail. Millions of pounds are lost when the projects fail to achieve its objectives. The image on the screen represents the core concept of project management methodology. There are various reasons for failures, such as lack of support from senior management, unclear scope, and incorrect estimates. There is a need for following a systematic way of project management. If the projects are managed in a systematic way throughout the project lifecycle, the project has a higher possibility of success. The project management methodology helps project managers to keep control over the specialist work, such as building a website, design a building, and to manage the risks effectively. The next screen will introduce us to PRINCE2. PRINCE2 is a non-proprietary project management method. This means a license fee need not be paid to any person or organization for using the standards in the project. It is a generic methodology that can be applied to any project in any industry or domain, irrespective of project scale, type, organization, geography, or culture. Any product-specific development methodology can be integrated with management aspect of PRINCE2. It is a widely accepted method for managing projects. Note that PRINCE2 does not provide specialist aspects such as industry-specific activities, detailed techniques such as earned value analysis, and leadership and motivational skills. In the next screen, we will list the 6 aspects of PRINCE2. As per PRINCE2, the project managers need to control the following 6 aspects or variables of a project. First aspect is cost, as the project has to be affordable and, though initially there may be a particular budget, there will be many factors which can lead to overspending and perhaps some opportunities to cut costs. Second is timescales, as the next most frequent question asked of a project manager is the timescale of a project. Next is quality, as finishing on time and within budget is not enough if the result of the project is not functional. In PRINCE2 terms, the project products must be fit for purpose. Fourth is scope, because if the scope is not known, then the various parties involved in a project may end up talking at cross purposes. Fifth is risks, as all projects entail risks, but how much risk is acceptable should be predefined. The last aspect is benefits, as the project manager has to have a clear understanding of the purpose of the project as an investment and make sure that what the project delivers is consistent with achieving the desired return. Let us look at the structure of PRINCE2 in the next screen. As seen in the image on the screen, the PRINCE2 is a project management methodology that includes 4 integrated elements of principles, themes, processes, and the project environment. A project is called a PRINCE2 project only if it follows the 7 principles described by PRINCE2. The principles are the guiding obligations and good practices that determine whether the project is genuinely being managed using PRINCE2. The themes describe aspects of a project management that must be addressed continually and in parallel throughout the project. The purpose of themes is achieved by performing PRINCE2 processes throughout the project. There are 7 themes that describe how the 7 principles can be followed while achieving the objectives of the themes. The 7 processes of PRINCE2 describe how a project should be managed effectively from start to project closure. PRINCE2 provides guidelines for the activities recommended for each of the 7 processes. It also provides the responsibilities for various roles in project organization structure. In the next screen, we will learn about the benefits of PRINCE2. PRINCE2 is an established and proven best practice for managing projects. It can be applied to any type of project and integrated with specialist product development method. It is widely recognized across industries. It provides common vocabulary among the suppliers and customers and has well-defined project roles and responsibilities. It includes best practices for managing projects. It is independent of the industry, domain, and technology. It can be integrated with specialist product development method. It has clearly defined project roles and responsibilities. It provides project organization with structure of accountability, delegation, authority, and communication. It also provides sufficient project controls so that the project can make efficient and best use of senior management time by supporting the principle of management by exception. It also ensures that a project is viable, desirable, and achievable. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the concepts covered in this lesson. Here is a quick recap of what we have learnt in this lesson. Project is defined as temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to an agreed business case. As per PRINCE2, cost, timescales, quality, scope, risks, and benefits are the 6 aspects of any project that need to be controlled. The PRINCE2 is a project management methodology that includes 4 integrated elements of principles, themes, processes, and the project environment. Hello and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson is about PRINCE2 Principles. The principles are guiding standards and imply the attitude of a person or an individual. PRINCE2 is a principles-based project management methodology. These principles have originated from the lessons learnt from projects that have been successfully executed and the projects that have failed. Let us discuss the objectives of this lesson in the next screen. After completing this lesson, you will be able to list the 7 principles of PRINCE2 methodology. Explain the 7 principles of PRINCE2 methodology. In the following screen, we will list the 7 principles. The 7 principles of PRINCE2 methodology are as follows. Continued business justification. Learn from experience. Defined roles and responsibilities. Manage by stages. Manage by exception. Focus on products and tailor to suit the project environment. In the next screen, we will discuss the first principle, which is continued business justification. Let us discuss the first principle of PRINCE2, that is, continued business justification. A PRINCE2 project must have continued business justification. There should be a justifiable reason to start a project. For example, a popular pizza chain has an online order processing system which allows registered customers to place an order for their products. The same system has been used in the organization to process the order and to deliver the products for the last 3 years. The number of customers has gone up in the last couple of years, and most of the customers complained about the slow speed of the system. Due to the increase in sales and users, the current system is no longer able to process the data efficiently. So a decision was taken to upgrade the order processing system. The new system will process orders 50% faster, leading to an increase in customer satisfaction by at least 20%. In this example, there is a justification why the current system should be changed. The justification is that the new system will process orders faster and make customer happier, leading to a possible increase in repeat of orders. This justification should remain valid throughout the life of the project and should be documented and approved. Although the justification should remain valid, it may change or evolve. This project is part of the nationwide program being implemented by the pizza chain to promote greater automation, leading to lesser dependence on brick-and-mortar stores for increase in sales. For a PRINCE2 project, the justification should be approved and documented in a business case. The justification should drive the decision of continuing the project throughout the project lifecycle. So, the first principle of PRINCE2 says that every project should have a continued business justification. If, for whatever reason, the project is no longer justified, it should be stopped. It is a wise decision to close the project if it is proved that it is not going to achieve its objectives. The funds and resources should be released and utilized in a better manner in a project with business justification. Let us discuss the second principle of PRINCE2, that is, learn from experience. PRINCE2 project teams learn from previous relevant experience. Lessons are sought, recorded, and acted upon throughout the life of the project. Learning can be from historical data based on previous similar projects in the same organization, or from a different organization but in the same industry. Learning from experience happens as the project progresses, which means learning is a continuous process. Lessons are included in reports and reviews. Learning from experience happens as the project closes, which means the project passes on the lessons learned. It is the responsibility of everyone involved with the project to proactively seek the lessons learned. For example, a Japanese bank is to provide partial funding of an infrastructure project in a developing country. However, they want an assurance from the local government as a similar project in the past had faced local labor problems. The next principle we will discuss is defined roles and responsibilities. Let us discuss the third principle of PRINCE2, that is, defined roles and responsibilities. A PRINCE2 project has defined and agreed upon roles and responsibilities within an organization structure that engages the business, user, and supplier stakeholder interests. A project is typically cross-functional, may involve more than one organization, and may involve a mixture of full-time and part-time resources. To be successful, projects must have an explicit project management team structure consisting of defined and agreed upon roles and responsibilities for the people involved in the project and a means for effective communication between them. As seen in the image on the screen, all projects have the following primary stakeholders. Business sponsors are those who endorse the objectives and ensure that the business investment provides value for money. Users are those who will use the products, which enables them to gain the intended benefits. Suppliers are those who provide the resources and expertise required to make the product. Suppliers may be internal or external to the organization where project is being implemented. Let us discuss the next principle of PRINCE2, that is, manage by stages. If the work is broken in small, manageable chunks, then it becomes easy to deliver the product. PRINCE2 also suggests that the work be divided in multiple logical stages, which helps in better management of the project work, and these stages are called management stages. A PRINCE2 project is planned, monitored, and controlled on a stage-by-stage basis. The steps followed to produce the specialist product of the project are dependent on the technology, domain, and industry. For example, the technical requirements of constructing a bridge and for producing a cola bottle are different. However, the production is carried out in phases and is driven by the technical aspect of the finished product. These phases are called technical stages. PRINCE2 requires a minimum of 2 management stages, one initiation stage and one or more further management stages. Shorter stages offer more control, while longer stages reduce the burden on senior management. Stages are to be planned, delegated, monitored, and controlled according to the business priority, risk, and complexity involved. Management stages provide senior management with control points at major intervals throughout the project. At the end of each stage, the project's status should be assessed. The business case and plans should be reviewed to ensure that the project remains viable. We will look at the next principle, which is manage by exception, in the next screen. A PRINCE2 project has defined tolerances for each project objective to establish limits of delegated authority. Every PRINCE2 project has 4 levels of management. The first level is called corporate or program management. This is the senior management level that decides to take on the project, and it defines the project level tolerances. Corporate or program management can lay down a rule saying that if the project cost is expected to exceed 5% of the original project cost, it must be brought to its notice and approved to continue with the project. The corporate or program management appoints an executive whose responsibility is to get the project executed as per the tolerances defined by them. The executive is a part of project board. Along with executive, the project board also has representation from user and supplier. Project board is the second level of organization. It is responsible for providing overall direction and management to the project. The project board appoints a project manager to take care of day-to-day management of the project within the constraints set by the project board. This is the third level of organization. The project manager gets the work done through team managers, who deliver the actual specialist product of the project. This is the fourth level of management. Let us take an example. The corporate management defines the budget and timeline for the project of upgrading the CRM system. The corporate management appoints Mr. Smith as an executive for this project. He has been handling 2 more projects. Mr. Smith appoints Ms. Julie as a project manager to manage day-to-day activities of this project. He allocates budget and gives timelines to Ms. Julie. Mr. Smith does not want to spend time in day-to-day activities of the projects. However, would expect regular progress reports from Ms. Julie. So this principle provides a very efficient use of senior management time. The senior management, including Mr. Smith and corporate management, should be available for guidance and ad hoc directions whenever the project team needs their help. So the senior management directs the project manager manages day-to-day work, and the team managers deliver the project, which means they deliver the specialist product of the project. There is a defined accountability at each level. Next management level is involved only if tolerances are forecast to be exceeded. Implementation of management by exception provides for very efficient use of senior management time. We will continue our discussion of this principle in the next screen. The accountability is established by delegating authority from one management level to the next by setting tolerances against 6 objectives for the respective level of the plan. According to PRINCE2, the project manager controls 6 aspects of the project, and they are time, cost, scope, benefits, risks, and quality. So the project controls are set at each level of management for these 6 parameters. Time, plus or minus an amount of time on the target completion date. Cost, plus or minus an amount of the planned budget. Scope, permissible variation of the plan's products. For example, mandatory requirements plus or minus desirable requirements. Benefits, plus or minus degrees of an improvement goal. For example, 30 to 40% cost reduction. Risks, limits on the plan's aggregated threats. For example, cost of aggregated risks to remain less than 10% of the plan's budget. It also refers limits on any individual threat. For example, a threat to operational service. Quality, plus or minus degrees of a quality target. For example, a product that weighs a target of 300 grams with an allowed -5 grams to +10 grams tolerance. By setting up controls, if those tolerances are forecast to be exceeded, they are immediately referred to the next management layer for a decision. This ensures that the senior management time is used aptly and right decision is made by people at a right level at the right time. Now we will consider the next principle, which is focus on products. A PRINCE2 project focuses on the definition and delivery of products, in particular their quality requirements. The document that captures the details of each product is called a product description. The product description includes each product's purpose, composition, derivation, format, quality criteria, and quality method. The product description is used to estimate efforts, determine resource requirements, determine dependencies, and determine schedule of the activities. Without a product focus, projects are exposed to several major risks such as acceptance disputes, uncontrolled change or scope creep, user dissatisfaction, and underestimation of acceptance activities. According to PRINCE2, a successful project is output-oriented, not activity-oriented. Output-oriented project means the project agrees upon and defines the project's product prior to undertaking the activities required to produce them. Let us now discuss the last principle of PRINCE2. That is, tailor to suit the project environment. PRINCE2 is a generalized methodology that can be applied to any industry. It is tailored to suit the project's environment, size, complexity, importance, capability, and risk. The tailoring aspect of a project is documented in PID. The Project Initiation Documentation, or the PID, describes how the method is being tailored for a project. The purpose of tailoring is to ensure the project management method relates to the project's environment. For example, aligning the method to the business processes that may govern and support the project, such as human resources, finance, and procurement. Project controls are set based on scale, complexity, importance, capability, and the risks involved in the project. All the principles of PRINCE2 have to be followed. If any one of them is missed, then the project is not a PRINCE2 project. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the concepts covered in this lesson. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned in this lesson. A PRINCE2 project has continued business justification. PRINCE2 project teams learn from previous experience. Lessons are sought, recorded, and acted upon throughout the life of the project. A PRINCE2 project has defined and agreed upon roles and responsibilities within an organization structure that engages the business, user, and supplier stakeholder interests. A PRINCE2 project is planned, monitored, and controlled on a stage-by-stage basis. A PRINCE2 project has defined tolerances for each project objective to establish limits of delegated authority. A PRINCE2 project focuses on the definition and delivery of products, in particular, their quality requirements. PRINCE2 is tailored to suit the project's environment, size, complexity, importance, capability, and risk. Hello and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson is about PRINCE2 Themes. Let us discuss the objectives of this lesson in the next screen. After completing this lesson, you will be able to explain the PRINCE2 themes, explain the considerations while applying themes in projects. Let's discuss the themes in the next screen. The themes in PRINCE2 describe facets of project management that must be addressed continually. Each theme has a purpose, and the purpose is achieved by following the principles. Any project manager who gives thorough attention to these themes will fulfill the role professionally. The themes are based on the PRINCE2 principles. Let us understand each of these 7 themes in the next screen. The table on the screen lists the 7 themes, what they seek to address, and what they describe. The business case theme gives the business justification for undertaking the project. That is, why the project is taken. The organization theme describes the roles and responsibilities of key stakeholders in the project. That is, who is taking up the project. The quality theme describes the quality attributes of the product to be delivered. That is, they describe what will be delivered. It checks whether the product of the project is fit for purpose. The plans theme describes how to create or modify the products of the project, how much time and money is required for the project, and when to perform the activities. The plans also describes the steps required to develop plans and apply PRINCE2 techniques. It provides the control and communication mechanisms. The risk theme answers the question, what if? That is, it describes the plans for managing uncertainties. The change theme describes how project management assesses and acts on issues, which have a potential impact on any of the approved and agreed aspects of the project. In other words, It describes the steps for assessing impact of change and managing the change. Issue can be any unplanned event that has already occurred and needs to be dealt with. Progress theme addresses the ongoing viability of the plans. This theme explains the decision-making process for approving plans, the monitoring of actual with planned performance, and escalation process if events do not go according to the plan. Let's learn about applying these themes in a project in the next screen. All 7 themes must be applied in a project. However, they should be tailored according to the scale, uncertainty, and complexity of the project concerned. Themes can be tailored up or down. This means for a complex project, one can go for detailed documentation and tighter process control. For a simple, low-risk project, even a concise bullet points presentation on how themes should be implemented in a project and informal processes would be adequate. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the concepts covered in this lesson. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned in this lesson. The themes in PRINCE2 describe facets of project management that must be addressed continually. The 7 themes in PRINCE2 are business case, organization, quality, plans, risk, change, and progress. All 7 themes must be applied in a project. Hello, and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson is about business case, which is one of the 7 themes of PRINCE2 methodology. Before beginning this lesson, it is advisable that you go through the lesson on Introduction to Processes. Let us discuss the objectives of this lesson in the next screen. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to define a business case theme, explain the PRINCE2 approach to business case theme, describe the development of a business case. Let us look at the purpose of business case in the following screen. The purpose of the business case theme is to establish mechanisms to judge whether the project is and remains desirable, viable, and achievable as a means to support decision-making in its continued investment. In other words, the aim of business case is to ensure that working on the project is justified, spending money on the project is justified, and resulting output of the project will be worth the investment and associated risks. At any point, if it is realized that resulting output of the project is not beneficial enough and not as per the plan, project work should be stopped. That is the reason why in the definition it states project is and remains desirable, viable, and achievable. Now, let's look at the meaning of desirable, viable, and achievable. Desirable means that cost, benefits, and risk associated with the project balance out. In other words, one does not end up spending too much of money for little benefit and vice versa. Similarly, the risk associated with the project is worth the benefits that the project intends to provide. Viable means that the project is practical. A project is practical only if the output that the project intends to deliver can actually be delivered. In other words, project is realistic. Achievable means the products can deliver the benefits. Every project is started with some intended benefits, and the current project should deliver those benefits. In a business case scenario, user or users is responsible for specifying the benefits and subsequently realizing it, while executive is responsible for ensuring those benefits represent value for money. In the next screen, let us find out what a business case is. The business case presents the optimum mix of information used to judge whether the project is and remains desirable, viable, and achievable, and therefore worthwhile investing in. The project board and stakeholders must always have confidence that the project remains viable. In PRINCE2, the business case provides the vital test of viability of the project. It provides the answer to the question, is the investment in this project still worthwhile? Since the viability question is ongoing, the business case is not static. It should not be used only to gain initial funding for a project, but should be actively maintained throughout the life of the project and be continually updated with current information on costs, timescales, risks, and benefits. Outline business case is developed during starting up a project process, while detailed business case is developed during initiating a project process. When making investment decisions, it is important to ascertain what benefits can be gained when, with what degree of risk, and from what level of investment. Projects should be evaluated on how well they will contribute to the corporate objectives. Such analysis enables one project to be compared with another so that the organization can choose to invest in the best set of projects. Let us discuss the output, outcomes, and benefits of the project in the next screen. We spoke about output and benefits of the project on the previous screen. Let us look at these terms individually. A project's output is any of the project's specialist products, whether tangible or intangible. If the aim of the project is to develop a new sales information system that captures all sales-related data of a company's customer, then sales information system is the output of the project. An outcome is the result of the change derived using the project's output. By implementing the sales information system, the company executives are able to capture sales order more quickly and accurately. That is the outcome of this project. A benefit is a measurable improvement resulting from an outcome that is perceived as an advantage by one or more stakeholders. In this case, example of benefits would be costs associated with capturing sales order of customers reduced by 10%, possibly because there is no double entry of same customer data in different systems or by different executives. Volume of sales order increased by 15%, as executives are getting more time to focus on customers, and revenue increased by 10% annually due to better sales. For example, a new ERP system was installed for the HR department, which is an output. This installation led to faster application and approval of leaves, which is an outcome. The benefits of this installation were employee productivity increased by 5%, employee satisfaction levels increased by 7.5%, and revenue increased by 10% annually. In the next screen, we will discuss the relationship between outputs, outcomes, and benefits. In the image on the screen, the relationship between outputs, outcomes, and benefits have been represented in a graphical form. This benefit is opposite of benefits. It can be considered as a negative impact of the project. Let's understand what Benefits Review Plan is in the next screen. The executive is responsible for the business case. However, it is the accountability of the senior user to specify the benefits and ensure the project benefits are realized. The senior user represents the user community who are expected to use the benefits of the project. Senior user is a part of the project board. Every project should have a Benefits Review Plan, or BRP. BRP defines how and when a measurement of the achievement of the project's benefits can be made. If the project is being managed within a program, this information may be created and maintained at the program level. The Benefits Review Plan is first created by the project manager in the initiation stage and is submitted to the project board for approval when seeking project authorization. The Benefits Review Plan is developed by the project manager. However, by default, the responsibilities lies with executive. BRP defines the scope, timing, and responsibility of reviews depending on the expected benefit. BRP is updated at the end of each stage by including the actual benefits achieved, if any. BRP is different from project plan and stage plans. In the next screen, we will discuss the business case for different types of projects. The nature of the project will determine the objectives to verify the desirability of the project and later to confirm the project's products have met those objectives. If a private company takes up a commercial project, the benefits are always measured in financial terms. This might not be the case of a project undertaken by a government agency. The various types of projects are compulsory to address compliance issues. Not-for-profit project, used at British Council's Centre of Excellence, evolving, customer or supplier. Accenture helped GlaxoSmithKline realized 1.5 billion GBP in 18 months, and multi-organization project. Some of these projects may be measured principally on return on investment. However, others like the not-for-profit projects may be measured on other non-financial benefits. Regardless of the type of measure, it's important to ensure that project is and remains desirable, viable, and achievable. In the following screen, we will learn about the PRINCE2 approach to business case. Continued business justification is ensured by assuring the justification of the project when starting and also re-verifying this at the end of every stage. PRINCE2 advocates the project be managed in stages. In PRINCE2, the business case is developed at the beginning of the project and maintained throughout the life of the project, being formally verified by the project board and confirmed throughout the period that the benefits accrue. We will discuss some of the key terms of this definition in the next screen. Business case should be first developed in the beginning of the project and maintained through the life of the project. At the end of each stage of the project board needs to verify to make sure the project is desirable, viable, and achievable as per the business case. At the end of each stage, the project manager needs to maintain business case with actual costs and benefits data of current stage and provide the forecast of the costs and benefits of the upcoming stage. Finally, an assessment of whether the planned benefits have been or will be realized is made. Important point to note here is that confirming benefits may take place post-project. That is, all or most benefits may be realized post-project. Let us find out how to develop the business case in the following screen. In PRINCE2, the executive is responsible for the business case. Executive is identified by the corporate or program management as a person with overall responsibility of the project. Executive can also be considered as project owner. The responsibility of developing the business case is with executive, which does not mean executive writes the business case. Executive may delegate the development of the business case to a business analyst or to the project manager, or take assistance from project assurance. As seen in the image on the screen, the development of the business case is a two-stage process. The outline business case is derived from project mandate and developed pre-project in starting up a project process. Every project requires a trigger, and that trigger is called project mandate in PRINCE2 methodology. Based on this trigger, some quick initial work is done to check whether it's worthwhile to even initiate the project. This is called pre-project. The outline business case is developed at this stage. Approval on the outline business case is required by the project board to initiate the project. The detailed business case is derived from the outline business case, the project plan, which provides inputs like costs, timescales, and products, and the risk register. The process of developing the business case is iterative. In the following screen, we will discuss verifying and maintaining the business case. It is the responsibility of the executive to assure the project's stakeholders that the project remains desirable, viable, and achievable at all times. The corporate or program management approves the outline business case, reviews the detailed business case as part of benefits review. The project board may review the outline business case during the starting up a project process to take a call on whether to initiate the project. At the end of initiating a project process, When the detailed business case is available, Project Board takes the call on whether to authorize work on this project. There are some other cases also. For example, in case of exception, business case needs to be reviewed. Business case is also referred by the project manager while assessing impact of any change, issue, or risks. It's the project manager who updates the business case with actual cost, time, and benefits data at the end of each stage. In the next screen, we will discuss the content of a business case. The business case should explain the reason that the project is required. The reasons are likely to be defined in the project mandate. It should contain an executive summary. The business case should also include details on which business option is to be selected in this project, out of 3 options concerning any investment. In any business concerning investment, do nothing should always be the starting option, which acts as the basis for quantifying the other options. The analysis for each option provides the project board and the project stakeholders with sufficient information to judge which option presents the best value for the organization. The business case should also include the expected benefits and disbenefits, time and cost, investment appraisals, and major risks associated with the project. The business case should list each benefit that it claimed would be achieved by the project's outcome in quantifiable terms. The quantification of benefits is necessary for setting up the benefits tolerances. For instance, in our sales information system example, the expected benefits could be a 10 to 15% increase in sale. The quantification also ensures that the benefits can be measured and can be proven. The benefits can be financial and non-financial. There could be some negative outcome of carrying out a project. For example, when the organization decides to implement a new sales information system, the staff needs to undergo 2 days extensive training, and hence there will be a delay in activities that they were supposed to do on those training days. Such negative outcomes are documented under Expected Disbenefits section in the business case document. The business case includes the timeframes corporate and/or program management is interested in knowing, over what period the project cost will be incurred, and when the organization can expect to accrue benefits. The business case also includes the earliest or latest feasible start date for the project and the earliest or latest feasible completion date. It should summarize the costs derived from the project plan together with the assumptions upon which they are based. The costs should also include details of the ongoing operations and maintenance costs and their funding arrangements. Next, it should document the major risks foreseen in the project. Another important section in the investment appraisals, which includes the development, operations, and maintenance costs against the value of the benefits over time. In the following screen, we will look at the different responsibilities in a business case. The table on the screen lists the responsibilities of different roles in business case. The corporate or program management provides the project mandate, and it should also define the standards to which the business case needs to be developed. The executive is responsible for the business case during the project. The senior users are responsible for specifying the benefits upon which the business case is approved. The corporate is also responsible for the post-project benefits review plan. Senior supplier confirms that the products required can be delivered within the expected costs and are viable. Executive is responsible for the business case for the duration of the project. Another responsibility of executive is the benefits review plan for the duration of the project, unless it is being managed by corporate or program management. Executive also oversees the development of a viable business case, ensuring that the project is aligned with corporate strategies and secure the funding for the project. The senior user is responsible for specifying the benefits upon which the business case is approved. Senior user ensures the desired outcomes of the project is specified. The project produces products which deliver the desired outcomes, and the expected benefits derived from the project's outcomes are realized. Senior user provides actual versus forecast benefits statement at the benefits reviews. Senior supplier is responsible for the supplier business case if they exist, and confirms that the products required can be delivered within the expected costs and are viable. The project manager prepares the business case on behalf of executive and conducts impact analysis of any new or revised issues or risks that affect the project's desirability, viability, or achievability against the original for approving the project. Project manager also assesses and updates the business case at the end of each management stage and assesses and reports on project performance at project closure. The role of project assurance has business assurance responsibilities. It assists in the development of the business case and verifies and monitors the business case against external events and project progress. Project assurance also ensures the project fits with overall program or corporate strategy and monitors project finance on behalf of the customer. It ensures the value for money solution is constantly reassessed and monitors changes to the project plan to identify any impact on the needs of the business or the business case. Finally, project assurance reviews the impact assessment of potential changes on the business case and project plan, and verifies and monitors the benefits review plan for alignment to corporate or program management. The business case should have a baseline and therefore be under configuration management. Project support should advise the project manager of any proposed or actual changes to products that affect the business case. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the concepts covered in this lesson. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned in this lesson. The business case presents the optimum mix of information used to judge whether the project is and remains desirable, viable, and achievable, and therefore worthwhile investing in. The senior user specifies the benefits and is accountable for the benefit realization. Development of the business case may be delegated to a business analyst or a project manager. It is the responsibility of the executive to assure the project stakeholders that the project remains desirable, viable, and achievable at all times. Hello and welcome to PRINCE2 Foundation Certification course offered by Simplilearn. This lesson is about the Organisation theme. Organisation is one of the 7 themes of PRINCE2 methodology. This theme is based primarily on the principle defined roles and responsibilities. Let us discuss the objectives of this lesson in the next screen. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to define key terms in Organisation theme, explain the PRINCE2 approach to Organisation theme, identify the roles and responsibilities in an Organisation theme. Let's look at the purpose of Organisation theme in the next screen. The purpose of Organisation theme is to define and establish the project's structure of accountabilities and responsibilities. This theme is based on the principle of defined roles and responsibilities. PRINCE2 is based on a customer or supplier environment. It assumes that there will be a customer who will specify the desired result and probably pay for the project, and a supplier who will provide the resources and skills to deliver that result. Let's discuss the definition of an organisation in the next screen. This is one of the most important PRINCE2 themes. People are required to perform the project activities, and so it's essential to define the project organisation structure beforehand. Let us study the key definitions associated with organisation. To understand PRINCE2 methodology, these definitions have to be remembered and understood. Program is a temporary organizational structure created to coordinate, direct, and oversee the implementation of a set of related projects and activities to deliver the outcomes and benefits related to the organization's strategic objectives. Program has a longer life than a single project. A project can be a standalone entity or be a part of a program of related projects. Let us continue our discussion of the definitions in the following screen. Project is a temporary organization created for delivering one or more business products according to the agreed business case. PRINCE2 does not define management jobs to be allocated to people on a one-to-one basis. It defines roles, each of which is defined by an associated set of responsibilities. Roles might be shared or combined according to the project's needs, but the responsibilities must always be allocated. Let's look into the 3 project interests in the next screen. PRINCE2 defines a project as a temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to an agreed business case. The PRINCE2 principle of defined roles and responsibilities states that a PRINCE2 project will always have 3 primary categories of stakeholder. As seen in the image on the screen, they are business, user, and supplier. The reason for undertaking a project is to introduce change to meet the current business challenges. We will continue our discussion on the 3 project interests in the following screen. The reason for undertaking a project is to introduce change to meet the current business challenges. The output of the project should meet a business need which will justify the investment in the project. The project should also provide value for money. The executive role is defined to represent this business interest viewpoint of the project. The user viewpoint should represent who uses the output to realize the benefits. It also represents the individuals or groups who will operate, maintain, or support the project's output, and who will be impacted by the project's output. This viewpoint is represented by senior user role. The supplier viewpoint should represent those who will provide the necessary skills and produce the project's product. The project may require both in-house and external supplier teams to create the project product. This viewpoint is represented by senior supplier role. All the 3 roles, that is, executive, senior user, and senior supplier, are part of the project board. The 3 roles represent the 3 project interests or primary stakeholders of the project. The term customer is also used in PRINCE2, normally in the context of a commercial customer-supplier relationship. Customer can usually be interpreted as a collective term for the business and user interests. Let us look at an example which illustrates these 3 project interests in the following screen. For example, for the project to construct the Sydney Opera House, the business was NSW State Conservatorium of Music and Ministry of Public Works. The users were the Australian Ballet, Sydney Theatre Company, and Sydney Symphony Orchestra. The suppliers were construction firm Civil and Civic and Hornibrook Group Pty Limited. Let's discuss the PRINCE2 approach to organization in the next screen. PRINCE2 separates the direction and management of the project from the delivery of the project's output. As seen in the image on the screen, the project management structure has 4 levels, 3 of which represent the project management team, and the 4th which is outside of the project. As per PRINCE2, the 4 levels of management are corporate or program management, directing, managing and delivering. Let us discuss these levels in detail in the following screen. Corporate or program management level is outside the project management team. However, they will be responsible for commissioning the project. This level is also in charge of identifying the executive and defining the project level tolerances within which the project board will work. The second level, called directing, is represented by the project board, which is responsible for the overall direction and management of the project within the constraints set out by corporate or program management. The project board is accountable for the success of the project. The third level, called managing, is represented by the project manager, who is responsible for the day-to-day management of the project within the constraints set out by the project board. The project manager's prime responsibility is to ensure the project yields the required products in accordance with the time, cost, quality, scope, risk, and benefit performance goals. The last level is called delivering. Representing this level, team members or managers are responsible for delivering the project's products within defined time, cost, and the quality expectations. In the next screen, we will look at the project management team structure. PRINCE2 suggests a strong project management team structure, as seen in the image on the screen. A project management team structure allows for channels of communication to decision-making forums. PRINCE2 suggests that the skills, knowledge, and experience required for all roles in the project organization should be described for effective project management, along with the roles and responsibilities, the reporting structure, and authorities for various activities should also be defined. PRINCE2 also gives the guidelines on which roles can be combined if needed. The executive, representing the business viewpoint, and senior user representing the user viewpoint roles can often be combined. However, some of the PRINCE2 responsibilities cannot be shared or delegated for managing the projects effectively, such as the project manager and executive roles. Also, the project manager and project board decision-making accountability cannot be delegated. Let us discuss all the roles depicted in this diagram in detail. From the foundation exam PRINCE2 perspective, you should understand the roles and responsibilities clearly. In the next screen, we will discuss the first role, which is executive. The executive is appointed by corporate or program management and eventually is responsible for the project's success. Executive is also responsible for the business case. The executive has to ensure that project gives value for money and appoints the rest of the project management team, including project manager. In the following screen, we will discuss the next role, which is project manager. Let's look at the role of a project manager in a PRINCE2 project. This role should not be shared. It is the project manager who is responsible for day-to-day management of a PRINCE2 project. Project manager is responsible for the work of all the PRINCE2 processes, except managing product delivery, directing a project process, and appointing the executive and the project manager in the pre-project starting up a project process. The project manager is responsible for liaison with project assurance and project board. A project manager will need to send the highlights report, which reports the progress of the stage to the project board. The project manager will interact with project assurance and will seek their active involvement in developing business case and benefits review plan. If there is a team manager present in the project environment, the project manager may delegate responsibility for developing specialist products. The project manager will be responsible for day-to-day management of the team managers and project support team members. Usually, project manager comes from the customer corporate organization. However, there may be projects where the project manager also comes from the supplier organization. In the next screen, we will look at the senior user role. As per PRINCE2, there should be a representation of the users of the project's products on the project management team. This role is played by the senior user or users. The primary responsibility of this role is to specify the needs of the users for the specialist products. The individuals or group of individuals performing this role monitors the solutions from quality, functionality, and user-friendly viewpoint against the requirements. The senior user commits the user resources. This role is also responsible for specifying the benefits and accountable for demonstrating the realization of benefits. This role may also be involved in the post-project life. We will now discuss the role of a senior supplier in the next screen. Project board consists of executive, senior supplier or suppliers, and senior user or users. The project board has authority and responsibility for the project. However, the executive is accountable for the success of the project, and he can make senior supplier and senior user accountable for the project. The project board is accountable for the success or failure of the project in terms of the business, user, and supplier interests. The project board is responsible for facilitating integration of the project management team with the functional units of the participating corporate or external organizations. The project board should provide the resources and authorize the funds necessary for the successful completion of the project. The project board consists of executive, senior users, and senior suppliers, so all of them are responsible for providing the resources required for the project. Project board ensures effective communication both within the project team and with external stakeholders. There should be a representation from the team who would be involved in designing, developing, facilitating, procuring, and implementing the specialist products of the project. This role is accountable for the quality of products and for the technical integrity of the project. The senior supplier provides supplier resources, which can be internal to the organization or can be obtained from external vendors or service providers. After understanding three important roles, let us now discuss the role of a project board in the following screen. Now, let's look at the four key characteristics of a project board. Authority. The members of the project board should be senior enough within the corporate organization to make strategic decisions about the project. Credibility. The credibility of the project board members within the corporate organization will affect their ability to direct the project. Ability to delegate. A key part of the project board's role is to ensure that the project manager is given enough space to manage the project by keeping project board activity at the right level. Availability. Project board should be available to make decisions and provide direction to the project manager. In the next screen, we will understand what project assurance is. The project board may not have skills, knowledge, and/or time to perform the assurance activities. For example, the senior supplier may be managing multiple product lines and do not have sufficient time for assurance activities for the projects. In that case, the project board may appoint other members of the corporate organization to take a specific project assurance role. Team members of project assurance report to project board. Personnel involved in project assurance are also responsible for supporting the project manager by giving advice and guidance on issues such as the use of corporate standards or the correct personnel to be involved in different aspects of the project. It has to be kept in mind that the project assurance team members are not decision makers. Ultimate decision-making power rests with the project board. The project assurance can review, advise, and monitor the project work. It is important to note here that the project board should not assign any project assurance roles to the project manager, as they monitor all aspects of the project's performance and products independently of the project manager. Members of this team may come from an organization's Project Management Office, PMO. For example, Environment Canada's Project Delivery Office guides and advises the project manager on project management and its best practices. In the next screen, we will look at the personnel in charge for change authority. As per PRINCE2, it is the project board's responsibility to agree to each potential change before it is implemented. The project board may wish to delegate some authority for approving or rejecting requests for change or off specifications. Projects in a dynamic environment which expects lots of requests for change may appoint a separate change authority. The project manager and/or the people with delegated project assurance responsibilities may act as the change authority. For example, the project may be given an authority to approve the changes only if the impact on the timescale is less than 5 days. Change authority may need to have technical knowledge to evaluate potential changes. Depending on the severity, the request for change could be handled by corporate or program management by the project board or it may be delegated to either a change authority or the project manager. Let's discuss the role of the team manager in the next screen. In PRINCE2, the only optional role is that of team manager. If the project is small, then a project manager may not appoint a separate team manager. The team manager reports to and looks for direction from project manager. The team manager's primary responsibility is to ensure production of those products allocated by the project manager. The project manager should plan the role during the starting up a project process or for each stage in the managing a stage boundary process. The project manager allocates work packages to team managers or team members. The team manager is responsible for production of the allocated products as per the work package. The projects are usually executed in customer-supplier environment. The team manager may come from the supplier corporate organization. In this case, there could be a reporting line to a senior supplier. One important point to understand is that the structure of the project management team does not necessarily reflect seniority. What is important here is the role on the project. For example, an executive may not have the skills for project assurance, however, should be able to represent the business view clearly. The executive should have the authority to secure funds for the project. The project manager or even a team manager may be more senior in the corporate organization. We will now discuss the role of the project support in the next screen. This role is not optional. Project support is the responsibility of the project manager. If there is a lot of administrative work or guidance is required on the use of project management tools or configuration management in the project, the project manager may decide to delegate some of this work to a project support role. Project support defaults to the project manager if it is not otherwise allocated. It could also provide specialist functions to a project such as planning or risk management. Project support is also responsible for administering any configuration management procedure and tools as defined in the configuration management strategy. Project support and project assurance roles should be kept separate to maintain the independence of project assurance. After all, project assurance needs to be independent of the project manager, while the project support team reports to the project manager. In the next screen, we'll find out how to work with the project team. It is important to understand how project team works together. Knowledge of different types of personalities and how they work together help the project manager in assembling balanced teams that can work effectively during a project. Extra care should be exercised by the project manager in case of part-time teams. For example, reporting needs may be different and stringent in case of part-time workers. It's also important to understand that at the start of the project, team members may need training. Few examples of trainings can be training on any process and standard to be used on the project. That is, configuration management procedures, progress reporting, and quality methods. Training on introduction to the project and its goals, and training on PRINCE2 processes and terminologies. In the next screen, we will find out how projects fit into the overall corporate organization. There are usually two structures in a corporate organization. The first is line management or functional management. In this setup, project managers can find difficulties when managing cross-functional projects due to the disagreement on overall leadership from various groups. The second structure is Center of Excellence concept. This structure consists of a central standards unit, which defines standards such as processes, templates, and tools, and provides skills, training, and possibly independent assurance functions to a number of projects. In the next screen, we will learn about organizations working with stakeholders. People are required to perform activities as it cannot be performed solely by machines. A professional project manager must understand the importance of stakeholders in a project. In PRINCE2 terms, there are some individuals or groups who are not part of the project management team, but are affected by the project or who may need to interact with the project. These groups or individuals are the ones who can support or oppose the project, who gain or lose as a result of the project delivery, or the ones who consider project as a threat or enhancement to their position. There are active supporters or blockers for the project and its progress. A project manager should perform the stakeholder analysis to understand the stakeholder engagement and find the information needs of the stakeholders. Though there are a number of stakeholders involved in the project, all the information are not shared with every stakeholder. In the next screen, we will discuss the procedure for stakeholder engagement. Let us now understand the 6-step procedure for stakeholder engagement as suggested by Office of Government Commerce, UK's Managing Successful Programmes. The first step is identifying stakeholders, which involves identifying individuals and groups affected by the project. Grouping similar stakeholders together helps in effective addressing of key messages. This step answers who are the stakeholders. The second step is creating and analyzing stakeholder profiles. From a project perspective, it is very important to analyze the importance of each stakeholder. There is a need to gain an understanding of the influences, interests, and attitudes of stakeholders. They have the potential to affect the success of the project, so it is very important to address their perceptions, even if it is erroneous and negative for the project. This step answers, what do the stakeholders think of the project? This step answers the how to engage with the stakeholder question by defining stakeholder engagement strategy. It is important to define how the project can effectively engage the stakeholders, including defining the responsibilities of communication and key messages which need to be conveyed. The fourth step, when to engage with stakeholders, is planning the timing of engagement. Defining the methods, frequency of communication is critical for project success. For each interested stakeholder, the information sought from the project requires to be understood, timing, in what format and how the information needs to be sent, and lastly, the sender and recipient of the communication. The fifth step is actually performing activities to engage stakeholders. Do involves carrying out planned engagements and communication. The success of effective stakeholder engagement lies in measuring effectiveness of stakeholders' engagement. Results step is all about checking the benefits of the current stakeholder engagement activities by assessing the current stakeholders who have been identified, their information needs, and the communication channels being used. In a PRINCE2 project, this measurement may be undertaken by the project assurance. For example, Transport for London regularly sends out emails to its customers asking for their opinions before taking major decisions. The customers who have registered on the website are included in this mailing list. In the next screen, we will look at an example to illustrate this concept. For example, ANZ Bank states that stakeholder engagement helps to minimize risks, identify ideas for new products and services. Hence, for a project, they typically do the following. Identifying stakeholders. By conducting regular dialogue across a number of business and functional areas on an annual basis, which includes consideration of silent stakeholders such as future generations and the environment. A global stakeholder database is used for managing information and communicating to our stakeholders. This list includes government, regulators, customer and community groups, suppliers, investors, and employees. Defining stakeholder engagement strategy. ANZ's strategy is based on the principles of congruence, consultative, collaborative, creative, communicate, and commitment. The approaches include dialogue in the form of stakeholder forums, participation in multi-stakeholder initiatives and meetings, consultation through surveys, focus groups, and online feedback forms, communication through CS newsletter and website, employee engagement through annual survey, My Voice, and through online CEO chat feedback forum. Engaging stakeholders. ANZ holds forums for specific stakeholder groups each year to seek formal input into their business agenda. These forums are attended by a consistent group of stakeholders, along with new participants, ensuring progress and tracking of issues that have been raised in past forums, together with the identification of new and emerging issues. Measuring effectiveness. ANZ does this through the Shareholder Review, Annual General Meeting, and engagements with Australian Shareholders Association. In the next screen, we will learn about the Communication Management Strategy. Strategy is an approach designed to achieve a long-term aim, which can exist at the corporate, program, and project levels. In PRINCE2, the Communication Management Strategy describes the means and frequency of communication to all internal and external stakeholders. It facilitates controlled and bi-directional flow of information between the stakeholders. The strategy includes communication procedure, communication method, to be used and may specify the tools that need to be used for communication. The strategy also includes information needs for each interested party. The project manager is responsible for documenting the communication management strategy. For example, a project manager prepared the communication management strategy while initiating the project. However, during the project, one of the suppliers changed. During the next stage boundary, after the supplier is off-boarded and the new supplier is onboarded the project, the communications management strategy needs to be updated by deleting the old supplier and putting the name of the new supplier instead. This change has to be approved by the project board. Hence, PRINCE2 suggests that communication management strategy should be reviewed at each stage boundary and while planning the final stage. In the following few screens, we will look at the responsibilities of the different roles in this theme. The table on the screen depicts the responsibilities of corporate or program management in organization theme. The corporate program management appoints the executive and possibly the project manager. They also provide information to the project as defined in the communication management strategy. The executive appoints the project manager if it is not done by corporate or program management. He also confirms the appointments to the project management team and the structure of the project management team and approves the communication management strategy. The senior user is responsible for providing user resources and defining and verifying user requirements and expectations, as well as the project's benefits. The senior supplier is responsible for providing supplier resources to make the project's product. The project manager prepares the communication management strategy and reviews and updates the communication management strategy. The project manager also designs, reviews, and updates the project management team structure and prepares the role description for the project team. Project manager is responsible for day-to-day management of the project. The team manager manages the project team members and advises on project team members and stakeholder engagement. The project assurance advises on selection of project team members and stakeholder engagement. The project assurance ensures that the communication management strategy is appropriate for the project and the planned communication activities actually take place. Project support provides administrative support for the project management team. Let us move on to the quiz questions to check your understanding of the concepts covered in this lesson. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned in this lesson. Purpose of the organization theme is to define and establish the project's structure of accountabilities and responsibilities. The PRINCE2 Principle of Defined Roles and Responsibilities states that a PRINCE2 project will always have three primary categories of stakeholder. They are business, user, and supplier. The four levels of organization as defined by PRINCE2 are corporate or program management, directing, managing, and delivering. In the next lesson, we will discuss the third theme, quality.